Okay. Well, as I work as a software developer, it's since 2007. Okay, and I always worked with the Java stack. On the first years of my career, the Java was using the infrastructure of JSF, struts, and other front-end frameworks, and for the back-end AGBs and other things like that. But during the years, I had the opportunity to follow the evolution of Java as a language and as a technology. So in more recent years, I have been working mainly with Spring Boot microservices, right, for the backend, doing the integration with the database using Spring Data or sometimes GPA. So for talk about my last three experiences, at first I worked at IBM on 2019 before the pandemic on a remote setup, which was very good. It was exactly what I was looking for at that moment. It was not very common to have remote work in Brazil, and this one was my first international opportunity. So I worked with people from India, from IBM, for the Sprint and T-Mobile operators from the United States. At that time, they had the merge, and my role at the team was to do new functionalities and do small changes on a lot of different systems using the Java stack. We had the recent stack for Java, which was JavaScript with Angular for the front end, and Java with Spring Boot for the backend. But we also had some more older systems from the early 2000s using JDBC, AGB. There were a lot of different systems, and we did small changes on those systems. The team where I worked, we were 4 developers, 2 of them from India and me, and 1 more from Brazil. And all the communication was in English, all the meetings and the documentation. Everything on that project was in English because it was an international opportunity. And I worked at this position for 1 year and 9 months. And then I switched to another company. I left IBM and I joined, which is an IT company that sells services for other companies. You know, in Brazil we call that body shop. Where you hire a person for your company, and this person will work for the client on the client project. So at first moment, I worked on the Dell. Yes, body shop. The body shop is how we call this way of being hired by a company but working on another. That's how do you call that on United States? Ah, okay, I see. That's funny. Okay, that's funny because it is a English word, and in Brazil we think that this is a global term, but now I got that. Okay, body shop. Resell. Okay, I will tell you that most of the Brazilian market of IT works this way. You are not hired by the final company, but we call these companies as a consulting company here in Brazil. So, oh, great. Oh, I see. okay. That's because of laws and regulations from the government? Oh, okay, I see. Oh, okay. That's a. Oh, I see. I did not knew about that. Okay. Okay, I see. In Brazil, we have a problem with the legislation too, because here we can work as an employee from a company, but there are a lot of laws and taxes upon this way of work. So the company is always taking a lot of risk when the company hires a person to be the employer or employee of the company. I know guys, more than 92% of the world's labor process are in Brazil because of our legislation. So on IT marketing we have salaries that are we get more money than in other areas in Brazil. So it would be a big risk for these companies to hire us directly. So that's why they have these smaller companies in order to protect the bigger company. And for the professionals, it's good because we have a more dynamic market. So that's something related to the legislation too. That's funny. Hi, Tarpon. Nice to meet you. Oh, no problem. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, great. Well, my company is making plans to return to the office, and I want to keep working remotely. And I'm trying to join an international position in order to I see this as the next steps on my developer career as a Brazilian developer is to work for international companies in order to get more experience on international market to grow there. But the main reason is because of this return to office, and I really want to keep working remotely. Okay. Well, for me, it would be an opportunity where I can work as a developer at the moment, using technologies that are not old, you know. For instance, you say that about AWS, Java with Spring Boot, and mobile front end. So that's something that I see as a modern, let's say, technology. It's not something from the early 2000 or older things. So that's one great point of it. We have GMT minus 3 in Brazil. It is 2 p.m. and a quarter. Okay, I see. Okay, so I know. And what would be the starting hour and the finish one? Okay, but it will start at 8 a.m. your time. Okay, great, I see. So I would start 11 and stop 7 p.m. That would be very great for me. Okay, great. I see no problem. I see it's better than. Okay, for me this is scheduled from 11 to 7 p.m. It would be great for me because it's not. I think it would be harder if I had to start earlier, about 4 a.m. But if I have to start later and stop later, that's for me. That's great. Well, I have just one question. Since you said about the technologies and the company and everything, I would like to know which is the start date you are planning for this position, if you have one. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, great. Sounds good. Okay, great. For me, that sounds good. That's all for my side. Do you have any more questions for me? Okay. Okay, great. For me, no more questions. Okay, great. Thanks a lot for your time and have a good one. Bye bye.